Okay, I'm doing a second intro to the first intro, but my brain is all over the place in this video, so just bear with me. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm so happy you're here. Today I'm going to take you through how I created a beginner-friendly junk journal mini album out of 2 treat bags that I got from the Dollar Tree. That's the base, and it could be just 2 treat bags as your entire journal, or you can fill it with some of the papers that you buy at the Dollar Tree and some of your envelopes and pockets and things. Stay tuned and I'll take you through step by step. Hey y'all, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. I'm so happy you're here. I am working again on the Dollar Tree Junk Journal Challenge. If you didn't see my haul or my first journal that I completed, I will link those below. I have quite a few individuals who watch my channel that are new to junk journaling, and so I wanted to do something that is beginner friendly. This one starts with just 2 paper bags. These are the treat bags. You could use lunch bags. You could use, giant grocery bags if for some reason you have those. And I'm not going to give measurements because it really depends on the size of your bag, but this is more of a kind of technique to show you how I would figure out and put this together. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take this first bag and I'm going to fold it. We have our flap here. I'm just going to fold it so that it nestles into that fold. You can use your bone folder for this. Earlier I was using the side of my scissors. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to cut off the gusset. It's called the gusset part of our second treat bag. Now these don't have to be different. I just picked 2 different ones. I was overthinking things there for a second. You see, I just kind of folded it this way so that I can get my trimmer in there. And let's see. There we go. Now, save this if you want to. I mean, you don't have to save everything, but this will make a really cute pop-up bag. You just put a tab on one side and you adhere it into a journal or on a page, and it just pops both sides open. For this, we are going to open our original bag back up. We're going to set this part right into where that gusset fold is, and we're going to check it out and make sure that it's not longer than our other bag. It is just about the right size, so I'm just going to take it and fold it right in there. There are many layers, so you just want to flatten it out a little bit. There we go. And so for this, you can do a couple of things. You can use glue just down the middle here. You would need to use wet glue. A glue stick would be too wide. And then you hold the paper up for just a minute. I use art glitter glue. It glues really fast. And then once it's dried, you'll have pages. If you put wet glue in there and then you smash it down this way, the glue is going to spread out from that fold, and it'll end up, kind of more attached. But if you hold it up like this and you have good glue, then it will stay. Let me show you. I have one here that I did that way, and it just opens up just like that. I'm going to use a long reach stapler, and actually a normal stapler might do this. I don't know if you need a long reach one. But when you use a long reach stapler, it's up to you, but I try to get the staple, the folded part of the staple on the inside, but it really doesn't matter. So you can fold that, and then you have just a little booklet that has a cover, a couple pages, and a pocket. I'm going to add a few more things though. First thing we're going to do is measure the height of our pages. So I'm just using this right here, which looks like 4.5. So 4.5 inches tall. I'm going to cut down each of these. These are going to be almost like signature pages. Well, there are going to be signature pages. So let's see. Four and a half. Actually, I like to do it at the bottom. So there's that. And four and a half. Four and a half. This way. These ones are less than 4.5, so they are just fine. And the length of our pages when it's open will be just under 4 inches wide, so just under 8 inches long. So let me do just under 4 inches on all of these pages. I'm going to go ahead and take these two, cut it. There's actually a perforated piece there, but I'm not going to worry about it. And I'm just going to fold them. Definitely not longer than 4 inches, so that's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and fold these ones. And didn't really want to cut this part off. What I'm doing, I'm taking the full page, but I'm going to just fold it at about 4 inches. So here's the end, here's about 4 inches, and I'm just going to fold it right there. And I'm going to cut it. There we go. This one and this one. I do kind of collage boards or master boards with labels and writing paper, so that's what I'll end up probably using these for, unless I just use them as note paper on my desk. And now let's sort these. Let's put this one here on the outside. And again, you could be done just by stapling these two in, and then you have a little closure, and then you have a little book. Then you decorate it. But I'm just adding a few more pages in. So, gonna add these guys. Wait, just one. Let's add this one first. A little shaky today. Gonna add this one. Sometimes if you already have a bunch laid down, you can kind of fan them out like that and just put the next piece in wherever you want it to go. Like this. That's how I kind of keep things in order. And then this one, I'm going to fold back so that it can be the middle of the signature. So those are my pages. This big envelope can go on the outside or it can go somewhere in the middle. It's up to you. I think I'm going to put it right in here. The tricky part when you're stapling is that you kind of want to get it right in that, right in the guide, or in the fold. So when you're doing this with a long reach stapler, it's a little easier because you can kind of put the whole thing in here, and you can even, if you're into it, measure and use this guide somehow. But I'm just going to eyeball it, and I want to get at least 2 in here. And I'd preferably like to have the folded part of the staple on the inside, but doesn't matter, you just do however. If you have a regular stapler, you can open it and you can staple through. Put it on a piece of cloth, a dish towel, a piece of foam, a piece of cardboard, and then you would just staple through. And of course the prongs won't fold, but you can fold them in with either, pliers or a butter knife or your finger or whatever's clever. So let's do this. It's kind of hard to see with the glare, or the shadow. Not a glare, it's a shadow. Here we go. So there we have it. They're mostly on those fold lines there. I just have a couple other things I want to do. Now that it's all together, I want to give it another burnish. I'm going to glue something to this so it'll be flat. But first, I want to talk about the pockets. So we have 2 pockets. In the straight bag that we put inside the signature. If you don't want them this big, you can glue the gussets here. Usually if I don't want them to you know, work like a real gusset, then I will just put the tiniest bit of glue on the corner after I take the lid off. So let's see if you can see that. It's right here. Right here. And same thing here. And here. Whoop. If you don't want pockets, you can even just glue them closed. Not sure what is going on with the lighting. I was interrupted. If you don't want pockets, you can definitely just put a spot of glue and close that pocket. I do have a pocket in the front also, the front of the bag. And you can either keep the pocket and for this next step, you would just punch a hole in one part of the bag instead of both parts. I am going to not use it as a pocket. I'm just going to close, or I'm just going to glue here, just like I did the other one. Then I'm going to take my hole punch. And I am going to put a hole as far as I can into the middle of the page, just for reference. You want it to be, you want the hole that you punch to be, you know, further than this flap. You can just kind of eyeball the middle of the middle. I have a coin envelope from the Dollar Tree, of course, and I am going to, you have a couple of options here. You can fold your coin envelope, just gluing it on the sides so that you could have the envelope and another pocket, and then as you glue it down, you only glue it on a couple sides so you could have another pocket. But I think I am just going to, since I have so much bulk in the signature, I am just going to cut this down. And I like to cut it at an angle for no reason. I'm just going to glue it on 3 sides. This one, this one, this one. So then technically we have 2 pockets. Oh, wait. First, before you glue it, you want to put your ribbon. Almost completely forgot. So here you can tie it in a knot if you like. I'm also going to glue it down though. For something like this, you know, you're not going to use it for a really long time. It's not going to get a ton of bending. So you can also just glue it down. Which I would do this way. Just going to hold it there for a second. This glue is already dried. If you want to be fun, instead of leaving this part as a pocket, you could just glue these two edges and have kind of a full open pocket this way. Since this is dry, maybe that's what I'll do. Let's see. There we go. If you wanted to, you could take the top of this and you could glue it this way and put it in the back here as well. Next, we are going to finish this little cover piece. I have one of the Hawaiian Punch dyed index cards that I created. I'm just going to take a look here and see how I need to cut this. Actually, I have this construction paper, so let's do that first. Looks like this is 1, 2, 3, 4.5 inches wide. So I'm going to cut this to 4¼ inches wide. Can you see that? No. So 4¼ inches wide. And then I'm going to take a look and do, let's see. I want to cover the majority of this flap or the gusset, leaving a border around all of the sides. So let's see. This is about 2½ inches from here to the end of this little gusset. So I'm going to do 2¼ inches. Again, this is the Dollar Tree construction paper. Just going to slather some glue on here. You don't have to slather anything. You can decorate this flap any way you want to. You can just leave it plain if you want, but because it had all of the foldy folds on it, I wanted to cover it up a little bit. So now that I did 4 inches or 4¼ by 2¼ I'm going to do 4 by 2. Can I do that? Okay, it's already 4. Cut it down to 2. kind of like this size. I used my splat box and it picked up some other color like yellow or something. Yeah, let's do it this way. Okay, and I have this, which is one of the, it's not a postcard, I don't know what they call it, but this was in a Dollar Tree pack, and I am going to cut it down. So this was 4 inches by 2 inches, so I'm going to do 3 3/4 by 1 1/4. Wait, I'm going to cut it so that it is 3 3/4 by 1 3/4. So let's do 1 3/4 first. One 3/4 is going to be a little too wide. So I'm going to cut it down just a little. 1 1/2. If I could do 1 1/2, I can. So I'm going to do 1 1/2, probably by 3 1/2. But I don't want to cut into 3 1/2 would cut right into that either way. So I'm going to cut a little bit off of the end, maybe 1/4 inch or so. And then cut a little bit off of the top here. Let's do a dry fit first. Perfect. One way to give things a more finished look is to add layers, and also if you're adding straight layers, you want all of the sides to be approximately the same width. If you're really into the junk journal or grungy look, then just ignore all of what I just said. So now I have the cover of my book, and I have this, which I am just pulling around and tucking under here, and it's ready to go. Feel free to mess with the folds a little bit more. Decorate however you like. So, just to review, you can use 2 treat bags to make a mini album. 1 treat bag that has the gusset cut off, folded, and put into the other treat bag. Easy peasy. This gives a better example of that. Here's one that I made earlier. This one I glued the second treat bag in, and I glued these 2 index cards in. I just used one of those big labels that I got, of course, from the Dollar Tree. And this one will work, especially if you just want to do something small or have something that you want to put into your bag, so that you can fill the pockets with some ephemera as you go, you know, ticket stubs and those sorts of things. Or you can make it a little larger It can go on your shelf with your other junk journals. Have you ever made a junk journal out of paper bags before? Or a mini album? If so, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.